What's up, y'all? It's your boy Beasley here. Hope you all are staying calm, cool, and collective and positive out there. I'm coming at you guys today with a review of the series premiere, actually, of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 1, Episode 1. I decided to pick up another show because, for one, I am a Housewives fan and connoisseur, but also because I have ties to Salt Lake City. Like, growing up, we used to go there almost every other winter. And also, I did have some family out there. They were of Native American and Black descent, but they mainly look Hispanic to me. So I don't think they really got to get a full Black experience growing up in Salt Lake City. But one thing I've also noticed about Salt Lake City is the fact that when I was there was generally no Black people there at all. Like, I would say, every time we would go, it would just be like a Black ski weekend. Like, at first it was like my immediate family, and then eventually like my other aunts, uncles, and cousins would come along, and it would be like a little mini family reunion, like literally a Black ski weekend like it is in Aspen. And the only other Black people in Salt Lake City were like Ethiopian, and some of them probably didn't even claim to be Black, even though they are. But I just love Salt Lake City, but at the same time, it was always a weird city to me growing up. Like, despite the fact that Black people, like the people there were just a little off. And not just the Mormons. I mean, if anything, they probably were Mormon, like the regular pedestrians. But even the Mormon church gave me like weird vibes the last time I went there. There was literally only one Black person that was a part of the church, and it was just like, it kind of felt a little cultish to me going there. But that's just my opinion. But going into this show, I think that Bravo did a great job in scouting Salt Lake City as their next franchise area, because America only has like a surface level view of Salt Lake City and don't really know much about the Mormon culture, except for they knock door to door trying to get people to join their religion. So it's nice to see race and religion in play, but not so taboo. Like, they're just out front with it. And I absolutely love the season premiere as well. The series premiere, like, it was on point. I don't think the ratings were all that, but give it time and I'm sure it will get better. So starting off, and I'm not going to go blow by blow, like I'm just going to go person to person because this is a new franchise, this is the beginning. And starting off with the Queen Bee, in my opinion, which is Jen. Jen is, I believe, Tongan and Hawaiian. But people in Salt Lake City just write her off as Black, especially with the fact that she also has a Black husband and 2 Black sons. That oldest son is fine, by the way. But they mainly talk about her and her husband. They met when they were in college. She wasn't really feeling him at first, but over time they got to know each other and they've been like college sweethearts ever since. He's currently a coach for, I believe it was Utah University. And she talks about how she doesn't really see him. They kind of have like a FaceTime relationship. And she also talked about the fact that she was born Mormon. And when they got married, he actually wanted to convert to being a Mormon. And then she just was not having that because the Mormon religion hasn't welcomed Black people into the religion up until like 1970, which really in the grand scheme of things is not that long ago. And that really doesn't surprise me because, like I said earlier, I only saw like one person a part of the Mormon cult when we went to the church. But so she said F that, and she decided to join like the Nation of Islam because he's Muslim as well. And she seems like a pretty cool chick so far. She's always designer down. She looks a little plastic, but I mean, that's to be expected with the Housewife franchise. But it's like, girl, don't get any more work done. I mean, you look fine, but you're teetering on the line of Lil' Kim status, girl. But we see her later. She goes down to the Botox bar that another cast member by the name of Heather owns. And she kind of gets this procedure of getting Botox put into her arm so she doesn't sweat. And you guys are in Utah, so why do you even have to worry about that? Seems like a waste of money. And then I heard that procedure doesn't even last that long. So girl, just go to Walgreens or Target and get some antiperspirant and you'll be fine. But then we also later see her in the episode. She goes on down to, at Heather's business actually, she went ahead and talked about planning Meredith's birthday party. And then later on, we see her driving with one of her old assistants, and I'm glad she didn't get the typical gay sidekick of an assistant. So, I mean, she has three of them, by the way, and no job. I'm like, why do you need three assistants, girl? But people will do with their money what they want to. At this point, it is what it is. So, speaking of Heather, we get into her story. She is a purebred Mormon through and through. She has a Mormon house, Mormon dog, Mormon kids, Mormon pets, like Mormon. That's all she talked about was Mormon. She had lived in Utah since she was 15. She opened up that beauty spa that I believe generated her about like $20 million. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she married a very wealthy man who's, I believe she said his ancestors were the people that kind of colonized Utah, and I guess I want to say he probably founded the church or were founding members of the Mormon church in Utah. So that's like big money. I don't know, but I think he's like billionaire status, and she ended up divorcing him, and girl was basically paid. Like that's literally, like she's like saying it without saying it. And she is like she loves being a Mormon, but she can't 100% devote herself to it like she wants to, because she loves black men, she loves gays, and she loves rap music. Like three things that the Mormons don't really fuck with. And I don't know how I felt. Like I was kind of confused when she said that. I'm just like looking at her like, okay. But at least she admitted that she loves two things that I am and one thing that I do love. So you're all right with me, girl, so far. So getting into the next character, we see Meredith. So right off the bat, she has a gay son. Don't know if he's out, but it's pretty obvious. He's actually going to be a fan favorite in my opinion. I feel like he's going to be the star of her and her husband's scenes. And she's Jewish. She's from Chicago. And the husband, I think, was from Chicago or Utah as well, but he actually lives in Chicago because his business is there. And she resides in Utah because her business is there and it's booming. She owns a boutique. A lot of celebrities have been to her boutique, and it brings in a lot of money. So that's why them two have like a long distance relationship. Right off the bat, you could tell over time, especially if this show gets a second season, them two are going to get a divorce. They talk about, actually the husband said that he has a lack of sex. Like their sex life is non-existent, mainly because they're in a long distance relationship. And from experience, long distance does not work. Don't ever fucking do it. The temptation sets in. You begin to miss them more and more, and like FaceTime and phone conversations are not enough. Seeing them part-time is not enough. Like the shit does not work. Don't ever fucking do it. And that's about all we get from Meredith. So moving on to her twin, we go to Lisa. We see her waking up her kids, and she's from New York, and she came to Utah mainly for school with her mom. And she says that she is Jewish by birth, Mormon by choice. And she only became Mormon because one day, you know how the Mormons knock door to door? They knocked on her mom's door, and then the mom was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I was looking for. And then bam, they've been Mormon ever since. I don't really know if she really vibes with being a Mormon, but she probably just accepts it, I guess. Her and her husband, they own several liquor businesses. I mean, several tequila lines, to put it exact. I haven't heard of any of them, but they look like they're making a good coin out there in Utah. So, and she also reiterates the fact that, like, even though Mormons are against alcohol, like, I don't own an alcohol business, I'm making money, I don't really give a shit. And then she also talks about how she's basically Cardi B in this bitch. She doesn't cook, she doesn't clean, but she still has that ring. And she's basically living a happy life with her husband and her two sons. So then we get into Whitney, who is actually Heather's cousin. So Whitney, right off the bat, spills her tea. I like her already. She reveals, we are introduced to her at her wedding, but it's later revealed that it is actually her and her husband's, like a vow renewal ceremony. And she reveals that her and her cousin, current husband, actually were with two different people when they met each other, like, and they ended up cheating on both of their spouses with each other. I don't know if they like worked at the same company. She said it was an office romance, and he's like way older than her, so I believe he may have been her boss or in a higher position than her. But them two were creeping on the low, and I'm not like condoning her cheating. But it's relatable to fall in love with somebody at work, especially because you are at work way more than you are ever at home. And then when you see somebody that you're attracted to at work and y'all are going through the same bullshit at the company, that it's like you guys are like mirroring each other's lives, and there's like a lot of relatability there. And people kind of bond off of trauma whenever they're dealing with shit at work. So office romances happen. Like, you would be lying if you didn't fall in love with somebody at work. I mean, how many of y'all have a work husband and a work wife? I'll wait. Be honest. But she seemed like a really cool chick. She also reveals that her husband was not her husband, but her family, like, they were both exiled from the church, and their families were not dealing with them until recently. So I wonder if the family kind of came around because the cameras are here, or if they came around because it's just like, okay, at this point, them two are not going to leave each other. Like, they're set in stone. And I believe he has a kid from his previous marriage, and I think they have either one kid or two kids together. I'm not really for certain, but she seemed like a good time girl. After that, we see her on a stripper pole. Like, she's having a good ass time. That whole entire wedding reception looked very lit. So we then are introduced to the one black girl of the group who, to my surprise, I'm not really vibing with after that at all. So, like, we go out, Whitney goes out to dinner with Mary, and Mary's the black girl who, not even allegedly, she's the girl who who married her step-grandfather. And she gets in this whole spiel of, basically, like, in the blog, she revealed that she married her grandfather to keep the legacy of her grandmother's church living on. She is not Mormon, she's Pentecostal, and she was actually in the will to be married to her grandfather. She was in the will to marry him after her grandmother passed away to keep the family legacy alive, which I think is just absolutely trife, absolutely disgusting. And even the girls in the confessionals, they're not feeling it at all. Like, it's just like ill. Like, I'm not usually the type to judge, but I'm judging. Like, out of all the men to be with, like, you two couldn't just work together with keeping the church alive. Like, you're still like a grandfather figure to me. Like, how old was she when her grandmother died? Like, I really want to know, because she has not revealed that yet. Like, how long were them two married before your grandmother passed? Like, I'm just like, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you like a little girl when they got together? Were you a teenager? Like, you had to look at this man as some form of like a grandfather, like patriarch kind of a figure. Like, like I said, more as time goes on, more is going to reveal itself. But girl, y'all are wrong. Y'all are dead ass wrong. So with Mary, she also collects designer items, and her and Jen also don't get along. The two quote-unquote black girls, even though Jen's not black. Jen is a black girl to me. I'm sorry. But they don't get along mainly because she said that Jen smelled like hospital once. And then it's like, I'm not feeling Mary, but so far she is funny. I'm not even going to lie. But she ends up Whitney reveals that she is invited mainly because Meredith wanted her there because she's still cool with Meredith. So we also get into the girls. We see, I believe it was Jen, Lisa, and Meredith. It was either Lisa's house or it was Meredith's house they met up at. Like, them two look way too much alike for me. Like, and the fact that they're both Jewish as well, like, I really had a hard time telling Meredith and Lisa apart. Like, they legit look like the same person. Like, they are like twins in my eye. But they went over to, let's just say it was Lisa's house, and they talk about Heather. And then Lisa kind of acts like she doesn't really remember her at all at first. But then she says that Heather was like kind of like a loose girl back in college. So I'm saying, you don't remember this girl, but you're saying that she was like flashing everybody and she was loose. So which one is it? And then we later see Jen. She is actually setting up for Meredith's birthday party because Meredith, for some reason, Jen wanted to host a party for her. I don't really know why. But Heather goes over and talks to Jen, and Jen basically reveals that Lisa was not checking for her. That Lisa is kind of like, I don't know her, and Heather is like kind of distraught about that because just like I knew this girl for a very long time. Like we were close in college, like we had classes together, and I felt for Heather because that is one of my pet peeves. Like one thing that I cannot stand is a I don't know her ass bitch, and I'm a Mariah Carey fan, but. It's like, you know me, we damn near grew up together, but when I see you in person, you act like you either see right through me or you don't know me. Like, that has happened to me multiple times in my life. I don't like this shit at all. Like, I'm glad I've gone to a stronger place where I can just pay people dust, but I would be lying if I said that shit didn't hurt, because it does. Like, I felt bad for Heather, but Heather girl, like, all you gotta do is just pay that bitch dust. You probably have more money than her anyways. So it is what it is. So we get down to the party, and basically it's a party for Jen. They even had Hawaiian dancers representing Jen. Meredith shows up, and she's just like, this whole entire party was for Jen, basically. Like, Meredith is not surprised at all. I hated Meredith's dress with her looking like the pink version of Big Bird. Did not like it at all. I also did not like Mary's dress at all. She was down there with a bad wig, looking like LaToya Jackson, like a younger version, in this ugly green ensemble with these Janet Jackson gloves. She did not look good at all. And then we actually have, at the party, we see Mary and Jen kind of confront each other. And Mary doubles down on what she says. Like, she's like, I'm sorry. Like, you smell like hospital. Like, I would tell anybody they smell like hospital. Like, the smell disturbs me. And even Jen's best friend walked over, and she revealed that she was the one that told Jen, because, like, that's basically my best friend. And then Mary dismisses her. And even in Mary's confessional, she is not apologetic at all. She said, like, oh, so what? Like, so what at the fact that your aunt had diabetes and had her leg amputated? Like, she should have had a better diet. Like, that's on her. And right off the bat, I'm just like, I appreciate people that can stand in their shit, but Mary, you're dead ass wrong. Like, and then for some reason, like, Jen just could not take it, and she ended up like storming off into her closet and kind of like screaming. And I'm just like, girl, this is your house. You ain't about to let anybody just run you about the damn scene in your own house. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You want to be the boss, bitch? You got to step up to it, girl, because you're there. I wonder if she has good reading skills. That is going to be the one thing that probably keeps Jen from like elevating to that, like, I'm the queen of this shit status. But she was in the middle of their promo photo shoot, so hey, I mean, she's going to end up being the fan favorite. Like, let's be real. But overall, I would give the series premiere, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I was thoroughly entertained by it. I think these girls are going to bring it. They have just the right amount of weirdness that this whole entire franchise needs, because Salt Lake City is a weird city, and they represented that well. So far, I like Jen, Heather, and Whitney. I'm on the fence about the other three. Meredith is cool, but I think her gay side makes her more interesting. Not really feeling Lisa, not really feeling Meredith. I mean, not really feeling Mary right off the bat. But, you know, my feelings can change. But those are my views. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to review this show weekly. And then I also realized the Housewives of Atlanta is coming back like in 2 weeks. Like, it feels like they just went off the air. Like, I don't know if I'm going to review them or not, because them girls kind of annoy me. Like, usually with them, they just have so much shit going on to where I'll just review the reunion. Because usually during the show, the girls are boring. Like, I'll probably do the first episode, and it'll be, if it's interesting enough, I will continue to do it, but no promises. But those are my views. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to come at you guys with some more. Stay tuned.